to. I'll take you through some cat cows eventually. But just finding all four corners of your body, just anchoring down, almost pressing the floor away, hugging the abs up and in. And then I want you to start to, we're going to go for some scapular isolation. So you're going to keep the arms the same. You're going to keep them relatively straight. You're going to start to sink your shoulder blades down, or pinch your shoulder blades together, letting your chest kind of droop, and then press your shoulder blades wide. And this is just a nice way to wake up all of the muscles and tendons that are around the shoulder girdle. It's a very complicated musculature area. So just getting out any kinks there. That's where a lot of our tension and stress tends to accumulate. And then try to go really slow. Mine, you know, I almost feel this little like shaky motion as I go down. So trying to just bring some movement there. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And then keeping the shoulder blades wide, or so imagine that we just kind of went like north and south. Now we're going to go like forward and back, if that makes sense. So keeping the shoulder blades wide, you're going to start to reach them up towards your ears like you're a little turtle, or like you're really shy. And then you're going to pull them down away from your ears. And there's 2 ways to manipulate this. We're getting like really like kind of Pilates-y anatomical here, but you can either manipulate them yourself with your muscles, with your lats, or you can stabilize them and start to slink your body forward and coming like through the shoulder blades and then back. And if this isn't coming too naturally to you, it's totally fine. Just do whatever feels good here. Just bringing a little bit more movement into it. But yeah, it's like a little like a little turtle moment. Go for 3 more. Immediately feeling the back muscles already turn on in the shoulders. And then next time your shoulder blades are nice and wide, just pause here. I want you to start to drop your belly, lift your heart up, find a little baby extension. Exhale, tuck through the tailbone around the spine. And then inhale, let your belly release, gaze forward. So we're going for cat cows. You've probably done this in some variation, especially if you ever take my class. I do them every 5 seconds. Great way to bring some fluidity into your spine. And if you want to be a little, if you're like tired of cat cows, just either like quicken the pace or slow down the pace, or you can even start to kind of find like an articulation, like you're kind of like waving in and out of it, kind of like what I'm doing. But pretty much just do whatever your body calls for, especially if this is your first time moving today. Let's just go for like 2 more rounds. And last round. Good. And then from here, I just want you to bring your toes together, bring your knees wide, press your hips back, find a child's pose, and walk your hands out. Let your forehead come down, let the low back stretch out, and then just taking this little moment, bringing the chest close towards the floor, bringing your body into itself. Again, just focusing on that inhale and exhale. As you inhale, I want you to think about expanding the rib cage wide, exhaling out through the mouth, letting the rib cage soften. Let's go for 2 more like that. Last one. And then I want you to gaze forward in between your hands. I'm literally basically teaching a yoga class right now. You're going to start to cross your hands over to one side of the mat and then let yourself fold back down so that you're just reaching through one side of your body. Breathing in towards that lung that's opening. Exhaling to pull the armpit away from the hip. 1 more breath in here. And then gaze forward in between your hands again. Crawl through center, other side. Let your forehead come down. Let your left hip ground down. Take some breaths in here. Or the opposite hip ground down. And then come back through center. You're just gonna pull yourself up onto all fours. We're gonna tuck our toes or make our way into a downward doggo. So hips go high. And then just take a few seconds to let this pose, this stretch, this elephant position, if you're familiar with that Pilates, just open up the backs of your legs, stretch out the shoulders, let the back lengthen out. Do whatever feels good here. I always like to start with a pedal of one leg at a time, just because I tend to have really tight calves and Achilles tendons. If you're wanting a little bit more length in the spine, think about bending the knees, sticking the butt up, and then straightening the legs. And then nice and slowly, I want you to start to walk your feet towards your hands, trying to get the sole of the foot down, which as the legs come closer, you're gonna start to need, oh my gosh, you're gonna start to bend your knees a little bit more, just really slow, like you're a little zombie. And then hang out in your forward fold, let your head release. If your back is feeling tight this morning, you can always open the knees a little wider and soften the knees, and soften the knees a little bit more. 2 breaths in here. And then start to roll yourself all the way up to standing. We're gonna do some standing work. So grab your strap, your belt, what have you. And then you are going to, wow, okay. Once you have your strap in your hands, you're gonna take an overhand grip on it, a little bit wider than your body, or I guess a lot of bit wider than your body. You're gonna soften your knees so that you just have a little bend in the knees. Start to reach those arms up to the ceiling, open your heart up to the sky. And then exhale, you're gonna round as you bring those arms forward, kind of caving the thoracic. Inhale up, exhale rounding. Kind of like you're doing like a standing cat-cow almost. Go for 3 more. Last 2. And then last one. All right, making our way into our first little section. You're gonna keep that grip on the belt, just kind of bring it a little bit more narrow. Let's say like actually shoulder width distance this time. You're going to start to reach those arms up as you fold yourself down, finding a little squat. It's almost like a chair pose if you're familiar with that in yoga. Stay here for 1 second. You're gonna make sure your hips are back behind your knees and your knees are right on top of the ankles. That's to protect the joint. And then you're gonna press into the heels, stand back up. That strap's gonna just come down towards your thighs. Good, so really slow. Again, you don't have to go down super low. I want you to just kind of do whatever feels good today and make sure that you're protecting your lower body. And the more you bring your weight back into the heels of your feet, the more you'll feel your butt cheeks helping you. I'm gonna put my hair up, you guys keep going. All right, and as you keep going with that arm motion as well, you're gonna start to feel the shoulders and the posterior chain of your body, your back muscles start to work as well. So that's what we're going for. If your low back is at all like iffy this week, like me, then just make sure it's nice and long. Make sure you're not twerking your ass out and make sure you're not rounding it either. You're just taking a nice flat back. Twerking's for later. Go for 3 more. Last 2. And then lower down and hold. From here, just again, sink your weight back into your heels, hug your abs up and in. You're gonna start to lower the strap down towards like your, shins, knees, whatever, and then reach it back up. So this is gonna work the back and the shoulders. And if you ever want more, your choice, you can start to add a pull apart. I won't be able to see it, but you can feel it as you reach the arms up. So just if you want to really work the upper body today, you can kind of give that strap a little tug as you lift, really feeling those delts. Let's go for 5, 4, Last 3, maybe sink your hips back 1 more inch, flare your butt cheeks. Last 2, reach the arms up and hold tiny bends and stretches in the knees. So you're doing a tiny little pulse down and up an inch for 10, 9, 7, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand all the way up. Give yourself a little shake. And we're just going to do a roll down for a second, keeping the strap where it is. Just nod your chin down to your chest. Slowly roll your back down, bone by bone. Take 2 breaths in here. And then we're going to roll back up, really stacking each bone on top. So really visualize your spine as each vertebrae stacks on top of the other. Roll the shoulders on your back. Okay. We'll do the rest of the section again with that strap standing. Have a soft bend in the knees. You're going to have now an underhand grip on it. Really, but first start with the biceps hugging into the rib cage, and then it's like you're kind of having this 90-degree bend. From here, you're just going to start to pull the strap apart. Think about elbows pulling in and thumbs pulling apart. Reach the strap out, and then bend the elbows, bring it back in. So it's like you're offering a tray to an NBA player, right? You're like, here, I made you some cookies. He's like, I don't need cookies, I'm a professional athlete. Anyways, so make sure that the pinkies are wrapping up towards the ceiling also, so that the insides of your elbows are shining up to the sky. And then just to make it a little bit more dynamic, as you reach the arms, you're gonna pull the strap apart. You're gonna soften that pull as you bend them back in. So try to rip it apart as you serve this tray, and then just kind of soften that. Additionally, hug your abs up and in. Make sure that the pubic bone's kind of pulling up and in. Glutes are moderately working. And you're gonna start to feel those shoulders, right? You're gonna start to feel those delts quite sensationally, and you're in control of this, right? The more you pull apart, the harder this is going to be, the more work you're to give your upper body. So up to you. If you're wanting it to be chill today, then just kind of, you know, skimp out on that pull. Go for 5 more. 4, think about almost elbows pulling in, hands reaching apart with that strap. Last 3. Last 2. And then you're gonna reach that bad boy out and hold. From here, you're gonna bend the elbows and then extend. And what I don't want is for your forearms to lower down. So your forearms, like they're on a shelf, and you're just pulling, or I'm sorry, the humerus, so the upper arm, and then the forearms are pulling in and then reaching out. So nothing else is moving besides that elbow. Keep pulling that strap apart. You're gonna feel those shoulders for sure. Ooh, take breaks when you need to. Let's go for 5. Oh my gosh. And 4. Last 3. We love the burn, yeah, 2. Hold the bend, and then just pulse, punching the ceiling, fist bumping the sky. For 8, 7, pull the strap apart, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, release that for a second. Give your arms a shake. Okay, we have 1 more set. So when you're ready, you're gonna go back to that overhand grip. So switch the grip. Now we're gonna go back into that squat once again as well. So I want you to hinge the hips back, reach the arms out in front of you, and then you're gonna, no, I'm sorry, don't squat down. That doesn't feel good in the back. You're gonna stay standing up, so your butt's gonna break. You're gonna reach the arms forward like you're riding a Harley Davidson. You're gonna bend from here and then extend. So same kind of, you know, idea of keeping the upper arm nice and still. And this time you're pulling the pinkies apart. Let's go for 6 more. Try to keep the shoulders reaching down your back. 7, or I'm sorry, 5, I can't count. 4. Last 3, can you pull the strap, rip it in 2. Last 2, oh my gosh. And then bend the elbows and hold, same thing. You're gonna rip the strap apart as you punch and punch. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, release down. Okay, what a blast. You're gonna take said strap, you're gonna have it as long as you can, and then you're gonna step your right foot on top of it, bring the strap right underneath the ball of your right foot, and then hopefully it's long enough, you're gonna hold on to that strap with your right hand, and then you're gonna melt your left ear to your left shoulder. This is a stretch for the right trap and shoulder. If you want this to be deeper of a stretch, just choke up onto the strap a little bit more. And then just chill. If you want a little bit of like some tactile feedback or some support or some pressure, you can bring the left hand on top of the right ear. Just make sure you're not like pressing down. This is already a very deep stretch. And then really slight difference, you're just gonna start to tilt your chin down towards your armpit and then tuck the chin into your sternum. So it's like a down and scoop in, and then you're gonna bring your hand, if it's up, to the back, the base of your skull. And this is gonna go more into the back of the neck. So let the head just really soften down, like you're trying to smell your armpit. 2 deep breaths here. And then let the hand go. Start to just roll your head to the right. Oh my gosh, wow. And then go to the left. Really slowly. Wow, that's intense. Okay. You're gonna switch sides. So you're gonna step on the strap with your left foot. That right arm feels significantly. Look how much longer my right arm is than my left arm. That's crazy. Maybe it doesn't actually look like it. It feels like it. All right, so choking onto the strap, melt your head to the right side. And this side might be different. You know, usually your dominant side is a little bit more tight than the other. So maybe this needs a little bit more of, a little bit more attention, or maybe a little more ease. And then again, you can bring that right hand to gently rest on top of the left ear. And then very slowly start to nod your chin down toward your armpit, tuck it into your collarbones, and that hand can crawl to like the base of your skull, towards the nape of your neck, and then just relax here, trying to let, I feel this all the way down at the very top of my shoulder blades. Release the hand, slow circles to the left, being nice and gentle. Ooh. And then reverse. What a treat. Okay, take that strap, and again, you're gonna have a really wide grip on it. We're gonna take a little bit more spinal stretches. So you're gonna reach that strap up to the ceiling. You can kind of have a soft bend in the knees, and then I want you to start to lift the left heel. So you're high on the ball of the left foot, and then you're gonna gotta reach up and over to the right, especially reaching to that left hand. So you're getting this nice stretch all the way down to the left hip, up through the left obliques, lats. Kind of spiral your chest up to the sky a little bit more. And then bend or soften that heel down, come back up to center, switch sides. Right heel lifts, like you're popping that knee. And then up and over to the right. Or I'm sorry, gazing to the right, up and over to the left. And then come back to center. You're just gonna roll yourself down, face like the top of your mat for me, and then the strap can go off to the side for now. Just hanging out in your forward fold. Let your head release, let your chest come down, maybe a little bit closer to the tops of your thighs. And then from here, I want you to start to bend your knees so much that your hands can connect down to the mat, and walk yourself out to find a high plank. And if this isn't feeling good today, you can always soften those knees down for a second, we're just gonna go for a few little like flowy movements. So I want you to start to bend the knees like you're crouching back. And then you're gonna lift those hips up, find that downward dog. Lift the heels so that you're on the balls of your feet. Roll forward like you're undulating through the spine. Bend the knees, folding back. Now, if this is a little too intense for what you want today, as you roll into that plank, you can tap the knees down and then send the hips back like a child's pose and then lift the knees. But the idea is just to go in like a nice circular motion. So if you can keep the knees lifted, I think it feels great on the legs. Let's go for 3 more. Last 2. And then last one. Hold that downward dog for a second. I want you to bend your right knee, let the left heel really sink. And then switch, bend the left knee, let the right heel really sink. And then you're gonna come forward onto all fours once again. All right, from here, you're going to point through the left toes, or I'm sorry, tuck the left toes so that left leg is straight behind you. You're gonna start to point and flex through that left foot. So you're rocking back and forth. And then next time the toe is pointed, you're gonna hold, make sure your shoulders are over your wrists. You're gonna start to lift that left leg up and then tap it back down. Just give me 4 of those. This is just to prepare us for what's to come. 3. Last 2. Keep the leg lifted. Okay, from here, we're gonna find a tricep push-up. So you're gonna start to reach your forehead forward. As you bend the elbows, that leg kind of goes up, and then press into the hands, find that starting position. And if you wanna bring that left knee down, if the balance is not your vibe today, just bring both knees down and go for normal push-ups. The leg is just kind of a little added balance challenge. And additionally, as you press back up, really keep that leg lifted. Fight for the length in that hamstring. That'll help you feel your butt cheeks a little bit more. Let's go for 4 more. Trying to almost like sniff the mat. And 3. I don't know what it is sniffing today. I said sniff armpits and now sniff the mat. What's wrong? Last 2. And then last one. Bring that knee down. Press your hips back. Find a child's pose. Walk the hands out. Lift high onto the tips of your fingers. And then let this be a little bit of a lat stretch so that you're almost pressing the armpits down towards the ground. Come back forward. Last thing on the wrist for a while. You're going to make sure those knees are right underneath the hips. You're going to step your right foot back, point and flex through that right ball of the foot. Rocking and rolling. This is a great one if you have crazy stiff ankles like me, especially since, you know, we're inside for 3 months and now we're starting to go outside since it's summertime and my feet have been not knowing what's going on. So this is a great way just to kind of bring some movement, lube up the joint, if you will. Next time you point through the toes, pause. Abs hug in, lift that right leg up, tap it back down. Let's just go for 4. 3. Last 2. Keep it lifted. Again, bring a little bit more pressure into the right hand just so you're not leaning too much to the left. Start to find that bend of the triceps, tapping the forehead down, lifting back up. Whew. And make sure you're kind of squeezing the heel of your hand towards you and then pulling the mat apart. You're going to find a lot of activation in the upper body the more that you kind of really dig into those hands. Whew. Let's go for 4 more. Oh, God. And 3. Good, you guys look nice. Last 2, yes, that leg. Last one, bring it back. Sink your hips back, child's pose. This time we're gonna go for a tricep stretch. You're gonna bring the elbows to come right near the forehead. Bring the hands together like you're in a prayer position, and then bring the prayer position behind the base of your skull. And if you're confused, just look at me. And then the more that you walk those elbows forward and wrap them towards your ears, the more that you'll feel that stretch in the lats and the triceps. Take some breaths here. And then last one. From here, you're just gonna come on up. You're gonna lie down on your back. Have the strap nearby. Once you're lying down, it's just so lovely. We love to lie down. So just take a second to feel the length of your spine. So your spine ending truly at the, the butt, and then going all the way up to the top of your head, right? Your head's just an extension of that spine. So make sure that you find that spine reaching long in a nice flat plane. I almost like to think about my head pulling up and out of my collarbones and then recentering the head down, just so that the chin is tucked a little bit more than natural. Because oftentimes when we kind of sit, we just naturally start to crane the neck, and there's just truly no point to doing that. So make sure the back of the neck's nice and long. From here, you're going to grab your strap for me. I'm going to fold mine in half so that it's not like flailing all over the place. You're going to have an overhand grip again, holding onto a Harley Davidson. We are just motorcyclists today. From here, you're just going to start to reach those arms back overhead. And then exhale, you're going to curl, or you're going to peel them right back over the shoulders. And then as your arms reach back overhead, I want you to start to think about the rib cage, and I want you to make sure that you're not popping the chest open. So once you pop the chest open, your abs literally don't work, because there's no way for them to work if your rib cage is flared. So make sure as those arms go back, you're still pulling the abs in, pulling the ribs together. And this is going to go obviously into our abs. So don't think about this too much as a shoulder workout, just kind of bringing some movements there before we get started. Last two. And then last one. Keep that strap right over your chest, so it's right up to the ceiling. And then you're going to take a breath in. As you exhale, you're just going to float one leg up into a tabletop 90-degree bend, and then bring it back down onto the floor, and then float the other leg up. So you're just starting with a very chill march. A chill march. You can flex the foot or point it, doesn't really matter. And then what I want you to notice here, especially with your arms not on the floor helping you stabilize, I want you to start to notice how much you're rocking from right to left as you lift. And the way that you make that movement smaller is you just exhale and deepen that core engagement. If your core muscles are engaged, you're just going to rock from right to left, and just see if you can control that a little bit more. And you're naturally going to rock from right to left, right? Because we are just human, and that's the way our body works. But it's just kind of being mindful of it. Next time right leg is lifted, you're going to hold the right leg lifted, and then you're going to bring the left leg up as well. Lovely. So holding tabletop. If your back ever hurts, just have a little bit of an imprinted spine. Otherwise, knees right over the hips. You're going to start to stretch one leg out long to 45 degrees. And then bend it back in, and then other leg long. Okay, if you ever want to bring the arms back down for support, you may, but what we're going to start to do is reach the arms in opposition. So as one leg extends, you're going to reach those arms back. Exhale, bring everything back to that starting position, and then other side. I like to use the exhale to come back home, because that's, I want to use my exhale to pull things into the midline. It just kind of helps me engage with my core a little bit more. With that said, if you like a different breathing pattern, whatever helps you, find that deep core engagement, I'm happy with. There's some exercise where breath is very important, which way you manipulate it, and there are some where it kind of works in both ways. As long as you're intentional with it, that's the important part. Let's go for 5 like this. And 4. 3. 2. Last one. Make sure you're even from right to left. And then you're just gonna hug your knees into your chest, kind of wrap that strap around your thighs, and then just like rock from side to side for a second. We have one more variation, a little bit of an advancement, if you will. So when you're ready, bring those legs back into your tabletop. Strap goes back up to the ceiling. You're gonna bring your heels together and toes apart and open your knees to about the width of your shoulders. You're gonna extend both legs to 45 degrees as those straps go overhead, and then everything comes back in. So if this is not your jam today, just go for the single leg stretch, you know, what we were just doing. Also, like, hot tips, the higher the legs go, the less pressure that will put into your low back, or the more that your low back will stay supported. The lower the legs go, the more you'll have to engage the low abs. So pick your journey. Let's go for 6. 4, 3, 2, and then last one. Bring the strap down, hug the knees back into the chest, and then now bringing your hands onto the kneecaps, you're gonna start to make circles in opposite directions. You're gonna open your knees wide, circle them down, and then bring them back through center. And then let the legs be really manipulative, malleable. Let the hands manipulate the knees. I don't know what I'm saying. Basically, so that the thigh bones can just kind of relax as your arms stir them around. Really good for the mobility of the hips, and making that distinction between the hips moving and the thigh bones moving inside the hips. Reverse the circles. It's very important for our long-term health to like know how to manipulate our legs inside the hips rather than just let the hips take over the work. More on that later. All right, bring your feet down flat on the mat. We're gonna go into some bridges here. So let's bring the feet, walk them pretty close to your buns, and then bring your arms down by your sides. You're gonna start with what's just a little pelvic tuck. So you're gonna think about exhaling, pulling your belly in to kind of lengthen the front of your hips. You'll find you're imprinted back on the mat. And then you're gonna inhale, stick your booty back out. The visual I use for this every time is a bowl of water chilling on your pubic bone. As you exhale, you're spilling the water towards your chest. As you inhale, you're spilling the water towards your thighs. And then you're gonna start to tuck your tailbone, find that little imprint, and then start to peel your spine up until you find this nice shoulder bridge. And then breath in. Once you're in the shoulder bridge, soften through the chest, the ribs, the waist, the hip bones last, finding your neutral spine. And then exhale, tucking and rolling back up. So you're finding your articulation through the back as we go into our next little glute and hamstring work here. Take this at whatever pace feels good for you. If your back is at all tight, then I really want you to focus on noticing those places in the spine that feel like they're not fully articulating, and just trying to breathe a little bit more into them. Maybe use your abs a little bit more. Your abs in Pilates are truly always working, and your abs are literally what move your spine. So the more you engage with the abs, the more fluid that spine will be, ideally. All right, go for 2 more. And then next time you're up, just meet me there. So what I always say during mat Pilates, you're gonna dig your heels down and back so that that's almost gonna jolt your knees slightly forward a little bit more. Feel the glutes turn on, feel almost like the shin bones, the tibialis anterior, feel those starting to perk up the more you dig your heels down. And then close the rib cage, almost think about softening the chest so that you're not popping the ribs open. Good, okay. From here, you're just gonna start with the hinge of the hips halfway down, lift them back up. So completely different from what you were just doing. This time you're just bending and extending through that hip crease. Let's go for 5. 3, 2, lift the hips up and hold. From here, you're gonna send that pubic bone up really high. If you need to take a rest, take a rest. You're gonna start to transfer the weight into your left heel. Imagine you're trying to squish a cockroach underneath your left heel. What a lovely visual I gave you. From there, press down through the hands, bring that right leg into a tabletop position. Gorgeous, gorgeous. You're gonna straighten that right leg up to the ceiling. You're gonna flex through the foot, lower the leg down to 45 degrees, point through the toes, lift the leg up. You're gonna feel that left glute quite a bit. And then another little hot tip, make sure that the hip bones aren't sinking. So if you look literally at your pelvis, make sure that you could like balance something on the pubic bone and that your right hip isn't lower than your left hip. If you want this to be harder, arms go up to the ceiling. Let's go for 5 more. 4. Last 3. These always do this. Last 2. There's some moves in Pilates that are always hard. This is one of them. Next time that leg is up to the ceiling, you're gonna straighten it up. Tiny pulses trying to poke a hole in the ceiling of your living room or bedroom. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring the knee down and then roll your hips all the way down. You're gonna windshield wiper your knees from right to left, getting a little twisty in the lumbar. From back to center. Let's do it again, shall we? Arms down, roll your hips up and hold. And just in case your low back's taking any little, like getting it all tense, just again, make sure the pubic bone is up high, because once you start to let the butt fall, you're just crunching your low back, right? Okay, squishing the cockroach with the right foot, lift the left leg into tabletop, close the rib cage, straighten the leg up, flex through the heel, lower, point through the toes, lift. Maybe using your hands on your hips, or if you want to peek, making sure that the hip bones are square. Also make sure that both waistlines are equally as long and that one isn't shorter than the other. Let's go for 4 more. Last 2. Last 1. Hold it up, tiny pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Woo! Bring it down. All right. Grab your strap. And then we're taking a hamstring stretch. We just have to hook the right foot into the strap. And then you're gonna choke up onto it. And then I want you guys to really bring awareness to your right hip, right? You don't want the hip up, you want the butt cheek touching the ground. That's gonna help you get way deeper into that hamstring. So even if you can bring the thigh to your chest, that might not necessarily be the best way to stretch. All right, from here, just gonna start to bend the knee in, extend it up. Good. Even if I feel like growing up, I just wanted to like show that I was flexible if I could. And so I would just go to like my 10, right? You're stretching at your 10. But that actually sometimes does the opposite of what you want. Sometimes that makes your muscles grip even more. So maybe thinking about stretching at like a 7, right? Or a 6, somewhere that you can kind of breathe. Next time the leg is up to the ceiling, pause. You're going to bring the strap into the right hand. You're going to tilt the toes to the left, let the leg cross the body, find an IT band stretch. If you want to send that bottom leg out long, you can. Sit up. And then think about, or your strap can be in your left hand. Sorry, I think I did that wrong. Think about letting your right hip
pull down away from your face, that you're trying to touch your right butt cheek on the floor, even though the toes are over to the left. And then taking a second to make sure you're not gripping in other parts of the body. So that kind of goes back to that stretching at 6 versus a 10. If you're stretching at your 10, what if you're gripping in other parts of your body? You probably are, right? So try to soften the rest of your body, make sure the eyebrows and the shoulders aren't tense. And then come through center. You're gonna open the leg out to the right. If you'd like to, you can, I like to bend my left knee and make the left leg also external rotation and open that left arm. That's just to anchor you down. If your forearm can touch the ground, fine. If not, just whatever feels good. Here, you're gonna stretch that inner thigh out of the right side. And then try to release that quad. See if your quad of that right thigh is wiggle. Come back to center. One last breath. Whew. And then take the strap off. Take a second to just stretch both legs out long. And notice how much longer the right leg is. Literally, it's literally longer than the left leg at this point in my life. All right, other side. I just like to appreciate that every time. Extend the left leg up to the ceiling. If you want to bend the knee for a little less intensity, you can. Start to bend and stretch through that left leg. Kind of like milking the hamstring. Something that I just saw, a yoga teacher used that phrase the other day, and I was like, that's a weird way to say it, but here I am using it. So guess it worked. Milk the hamstring. And then again, next time you lift that leg up, think about someone pulling your hip bone down towards the wall in front of you. Immediately feeling a little bit more in the hamstring. You're gonna tilt the toes to the right, let the leg cross over to the right side of your body, let the left leg reach down. Back to center. And then opening out to the left. Opening the right arm out so you can have that counterbalance, and then let that left quad release. Come back to center. And then take the strap off. We're gonna go into a little bit more ab work. Bend your knees, bring your feet flat. Reach the strap up. I folded mine in half again so that it's not dangling on my face. Overhand grip. Take a breath. As you exhale, you're gonna reach those arms down to tap towards like the most distal part of your quad. And then inhale, reach back and lower the head down. So exhale, you're reaching as you press. Inhale, back up. Good. As you keep going, you're thinking about those abs pulling down and in and not letting them puff up to the ceiling. If your neck ever starts to bother you and you'd rather bring your hand behind your head, that's totally fine. Let's go for 5 more before we hold. 4. 3. 2. And then peel up and hold that curl. From here, you're going to start to lift those arms slightly up and then exhale, press them back down. So we're just going up like a foot, maybe. Exhale, pressing back down. Keeping the chest lifted. And then make sure the head is not, the neck isn't gripping. So tuck your chin down into your chest if you feel like your neck is starting to give you any irritation. Let's go for 5. Curl up 1 more inch. 4. Good. Last 3. 2. And then next time those arms are reaching long, you're going to take a little tiny pulse up, trying to reach that strap past your knees. That won't happen, but that did. Yeah, let's go for it. 10. 7. Last 5. 4. 3. 2. 1. Release all the way back. Reach those arms back overhead. Take a full body stretch. And then you're just gonna let that strap drop. We're done with it. We're done with her. Bring your hands behind your head. One last ab challenge, and then we're done. So you're gonna nod your chin to your chest and curl forward, and then inhale back. So same thing you were just doing, only now with your arms supporting your skull. So making sure the neck is staying heavy in the hands. If you feel like it ever starts to grip, just give your head a little waddle. Let's go for 4. And 3. Last 2. And then curl forward and hold. You're gonna float your legs into a tabletop. From here, you're gonna rotate to one side, extend the opposite leg, come back to center, opposite twist, extend the opposite leg. So we're taking a very slow crisscross, thinking about lifting up and over every time you twist. Trying to reach your armpit towards the opposite corner of your ceiling. Let's go for 5, more to each side. Lift up a little higher for 4. Last 3. 2. Last set to each side, and then after you finish that left side, you're gonna hold and center, find your curl, tiny pulses up for 10, 9, 8. If you want this to be harder, extend your legs to 45 degrees. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. All right, we're done with that. Drop your knees over to the right side of your mat, and then gaze over your left shoulder. Arms can be in a cactus or a T. Come through center, other side. Legs go to the left. Gaze to the right. And then just lie down on your back for a second. We're just gonna end with a few deep breaths. So you can have your legs long, or you can have the feet flat, whatever feels better for you. Or if you wanna have a little hip opener, you can have the feet, soles of the feet together, knees wide, as long as it doesn't bring any tension into the hips. And then just bring your hands to your body, somewhere that feels natural. And then I just want you to start to close your eyes, and then just find some deep inhales and exhales here. So starting with a little bit of a body scan, start at the top of your hairline, going down through the eyebrows, letting the eyes soften and sink into the back of your skull. And then let the face just be really lax. Let the jaw be slack, tongue be heavy. Make sure the collarbones are wide, shoulders reaching away from your ears without too much effort. Rib cage heavy, hips heavy. Legs really relaxed. And then just trying to kind of, sounds corny, but like harness your energy here. The world's been a really intense place in many different ways. So just taking a second to focus on yourself is never selfish. It's always, if you use this kind of time to take care of yourself, hopefully you can go out into the world and do things that help to take care of other things and other people. So just trying to focus on that inhale and exhale. Taking a second to quiet your mind. Feel yourself in your body. Give me 3 deep breaths. Last 2. Last 1. If your knees are wide, bring your hands underneath your thighs to close them so that they don't hurt too much. Roll onto one side of your body, and then you can just prop yourself up. And you guys are all done. Thanks for hanging out. I enjoy all of your company virtually. So good to see you all. I'll send out an email with links on Monday. If you guys have any suggestions, I am truly all ears. So yeah, otherwise have a good rest of your weekend. Thanks for coming. Bye. Bye, Cree. Bye, Libby. Bye, Megan. Thank you. Thanks, Megan.